Namaskar. In fact, I am not the Deputy Consul General. Today I have come here as a devotee. When I was invited that I would be coming here, I said no, I would be coming here but not as a Deputy Consul General, I would be coming here as a devotee. And like you, I am a devotee here. So having said this one, first of all it is my pleasure and honor to be amongst you for this auspicious occasion when we are becoming basically the devotees of Lord Jagannath here in Edison. So what I am trying to say here is, what is the role of the consulate? What would consulate do when we are going to be inaugurating a temple and where Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra would be there? So that's why there is nothing that consulate can do, but the thing is, if you see the India and USA relationship, we are on a strong foundation, whether it is freedom of speech, freedom of rights, anything. You can see the relationship in common language, the relationship is very good. But one thing that is the difference between India and USA is that here people are quite stressed. But in India, any devotee would be seeing they are relaxed. So, what is the relationship? Relationship is that if the God is there, we would be coming together and then our stress would be removed. That is important. For which I have also come here. In fact, I have come here for this same purpose, that the stress would be removed if you have come to a temple. And having said this, it is not the proper occasion to give a proper speech. But the thing is, it is my pleasure and honor to be here. I would like to thank the organizers. I would like to thank the ISKCON. They have organized such a marvelous thing, and thank you very much for coming here. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
The Srila Prabhupada first time met his spiritual master, his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj in Calcutta 1922. That time Prabhupada was 26 years old, young, and sometimes to somehow or other very much inclined to take part in the movement of Mahatma Gandhi. So in the very first meeting, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj told him, requested Srila Prabhupada, that since you are a very educated person, you could speak English very fluently, why not you take mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and preach Krishna consciousness all over the world, especially in the English-speaking area, in English-speaking country. So Prabhupada accepted this order, and he was thinking how he was, since that time, since 1922, since that time he was contemplating how can I fulfill the order of my spiritual master. My spiritual master had ordered me to spread Krishna consciousness in Western country.
By association with the sadhus, his devotees, bhaktistu bhagavad bhakta sangena purijate. We are all, everybody is devotee, but bhakti is covered at present. We have to dormant bhakti, we have to awaken it by watering the bhakti seed, and seed is sowed by Guru. Sadhu, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. By the mercy of Guru, by mercy of Krishna. So, and that one has to water. Watering means, just a seed you water means chanting and hearing from a realized soul. Who is realized soul? He is Dhira, who is Atmavid, who is Atmaram, who is Paramhansa, who controls.
I was a new bhakta and went to Mayapur in 1976. And I was given a service I told was my direct service to Srila Prabhupada. Although I didn't see him, I was told this is my direct service. So my service was after Mangala Arati, to go and stand on the roof of the building and to look at my hand, to stick my arm out and look at my hand. And as soon as I could see my hand, that meant the sun was up far enough in the sky that all the lights in the building had to be turned off. So I would stand on the roof, wait till I could see my hand, which is not a lot of light, your hand's 2-3 feet away, and literally run around the building, the first building in Mayapur, and turn off all the lights in the hallway. The reason I was given this service was because just a few days or a few weeks before, Prabhupada had noticed how much energy devotees were wasting. I don't know if it was at the exact same time, but around that time, Prabhupada was one day walking around the building in Mayapur, our one building, Lotus building, right? Lotus building, and he came across one room where he could hear the fan was on, and the door was locked, right? India means the door's locked from the outside, at least in those days. So he knew someone had the fan on, and they had left in ISKCON's international headquarters, and Prabhupada was knocking on the door, and he said, "Demon." Everybody there wore tilak and sari or dhoti. This is ISKCON's headquarters. But because they were wasting Krishna's energy, because the fan was going and no one was there. So I learned from that story how important it was for Prabhupada to not waste Krishna's resources.
So Srila Prabhupada brought this idea of Krishna consciousness, becoming conscious of Krishna, dedicating our lives in love to Krishna. And this was imbibed in his heart from his very childhood. His father was a businessman. His father was a cloth merchant. Prabhupada wasn't born in a big Brahmin family. His father was a cloth merchant, and he would sit in his shop selling cloth. And Prabhupada said that his father's main business was puja. So mostly his father was loving to worship Krishna by doing a little arti when he would come home at night, in the morning. So this idea of our heart's dedication to loving Krishna was something very new that Prabhupada brought to this country. People were worshiping God in Europe and America before Prabhupada came, but mostly in a mood of fearing God, if at all. Mostly people were thinking, if there's a God at all, he's a fearsome personality. He's an angry and vengeful God. But Srila Prabhupada brought the concept of Krishna as our dearmost friend, our supreme enjoyer, our protector, our maintainer, and our dearmost friend. When Srila Prabhupada was a little boy, he used to play with his sister, as I mentioned. His other siblings were not so much interested in loving Krishna. They would tease him and say, "Oh, Abba, you're just wasting your time. Why are you wasting time with all of this looking at Krishna, thinking of Krishna, going to the temple, and all of these things?" But Prabhupada and his little sister were very much loving these things. They took great joy in loving Krishna. And they used to fly their kites together, right? Everyone knows how Prabhupada used to fly his kite with his little sister. And they would pray to Krishna, "Please make my kite fly very high in the sky." So in all endeavors to pray to Krishna for success. So actually this Krishna consciousness, just like when someone is flying a kite, the kite is flying high in the air, but the kite is grounded by someone holding the string on the ground, right? So this Krishna consciousness movement, we're trying to be grounded on the instructions and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, as all of these wonderful devotees were just speaking so beautifully about Srila Prabhupada. So the idea of being grounded in the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and being grounded like that, our consciousness, our love for Krishna, our consciousness of Krishna can fly so high in the sky beyond anyone's imagination, beyond our own limitations, by the power of grace. So being grounded in Prabhupada's instructions, in the instructions coming down from previous acharyas, then our abilities, our own abilities, can flow.
What Srila Prabhupada has done is very great, because Srila Prabhupada has transferred the ancient Vedic culture and tradition of spiritual realization and going back to Godhead. And he's established that all over the world in a wonderful way. By his, that's what Srila Prabhupada is called, Acharya. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada taught by his own example. He didn't leave it to someone else to do it. Just like this Harinam. This Harinam is, Srila Prabhupada came out himself and did the Harinam. And this Rathayatra, Srila Prabhupada was doing this Rathayatra since he was a baby boy. So in all ways, we are dependent for all our guidance on Srila Prabhupada. And as long as we don't forget that, we have to depend on the devotees that had personal association with Srila Prabhupada, and the devotees that loved Srila Prabhupada, and who are following in his footsteps. And so Srila Prabhupada establishing this deity worship, that's very important. Previously, no one had this idea that God has his form. And if you don't know God has his form, then what are you really loving? You don't really understand. So Prabhupada has saved this world. That is called Mayavadi and Sunyavadi. And Prabhupada has saved the world from that. So it's very important that we have this deity worship. Actually, the forms of Krishna, this is not coming from mythology. That's coming from the actual history. Just like the forms of Lord Chaitanya, they were here just 500 years ago. So all of these forms are coming historical forms. They're very real forms. Jai.
Tatta detaka detaka dig tam. Tatta detaka detaka dig dig. Vakara kamala bare nakhamadhuta srungam dalita hiranya kasiputanurungam kesavadhuta narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare dhru taka taka dhru taka taka tak dhru ta ditta 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 ta dhru ta de da dhru ta de da dhru ta de.
My dear citizens, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, I lack nothing in the way of riches, land, power, or honor. Yet, today I feel myself a beggar and needy for something transcendental. I want to find the Lord. I want to see Him. Is there anyone in this assembly who can tell me how or where to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
The Lord, who is now present on this earth, in his deity form sends me. On eastern shore of that lake stands the Neelakantamani, deity of Shri Krishna. He is worshipped as Neelamadhav.
Vidyapati, you go in the eastern direction. As soon as you find Neelamadhav, we shall go in grand procession with full retinue. I prostrate my obeisances to the Lord and beg him to join our entourage to Avantipura.
Hey Brahman, take this buttermilk.
It's amazing. What a relief.
Only the Sabara King Vishwavasu can go there.
Vishwavasu may help in finding Neelamadhav. Vidyapati married his daughter Lalita.
Whole house fills with fragrance, and when my husband asked about it, I couldn't lie. Can you take Vidyapati with you for the Neelamadhav's darshan?
Listen.
My dear devotee, it is I, Neela Madhav, who speaks to you.
Lord Nilamadhava is directly.
Now I want to be worshipped in great opulence, as I normally am. King Indradumna, ruler of this planet, is my great devotee, and he avoids to worship me royally.
I don't see any deity here. Where is Nilamadhava?
I don't know where Nilamadhava is.
Though you have an intense desire to serve Neel Madhav, you cannot see him in this form. For the pleasure of devotees, Lord of the universe will appear in a wonderful deity form made of wood.
I am very pleased with your austerities, and soon I will appear on this earth. I will appear on Banki Mohan Ocean as a great lord.
Vishwavashu, my dear friend, my whole army couldn't pull this auspicious Daru Brahman, and you Vishwavashu, a true devotee of the Lord, have lifted it all alone. Jai Nilamadhava.
Dear King, I am a sculptor named Anant Maharana. O King, I have one condition. I will work in these closed chambers of your palace for 21 days. Command no one to enter this chamber or interrupt till I finish sculpting the deities.
Let me go. I have disobeyed the Brahman. I should end my life now.
Indradumna, my dearest devotee, I am Jagannath. I eternally present as Purushottama in this wooden form. Though I don't have hands and feet, I accept my devotees' offerings and walk out to bestow my blessings upon the people on this earth.
The doors of this temple are closed only for 3 hours. By that, devotees can take darshan of the Lord for 21 hours a day. May the Lord be served with chap and bhog every day.
Lord is pleased with your selfless devotion. Sri Jagannath, Sri Baldev and their sister Subhadra will go on chariots from this temple of Queen Gundicha's place once in a year and stay there for a few days before returning. This will become famous as Jagannath Rath Yatra. Anyone who pulls the rope of the chariot or accepts prasadam or renders service will qualify to go back to Godhead.
Om Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti. What we're going to do is tonight, behind the curtain, we've opened the deity's eyes. This system is, according to Pancharatra, we're installing the deities. And it's a slow process of installing the deities. And now, this morning we did one homa, which was using the Mula Mantra of the Murti. The Mula Mantras are the mantric form of the deities. These are the mantras that are given by the Guru to the Shishya, to the disciple. And they're the mantric form. They have so much potency. So what we did was we chant, the Mula Mantra is invoked in 4 different ways. In the mandala, in the kumbhas, and in the homa. And they're reverberated over the 3 days until they're finally merged into the 4th form, the bimba, the murti. So all of that energy all goes into the murti. And in the center we have here, actually here we have a mandala, it's called the Sarvatobhadra mandala. And if you're looking from above, it resembles wells on the side and a creeper with leaves. And on top, all the devatas are installed all around the mandala. And on top is Krishna, on the top of the flower. And in the center here, we have the Chaturvyuha, and then Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Shri Shri Gaurnitai installed. And each day we do japa of the Mula Mantras and invoke it into the water of these Mahakumbhas. And they're worshipped morning and evening, and hundreds of thousands of times the mantras are chanted into these kumbhas. And eventually all of the Shakti is merged into the kumbha, which then, after the Prana Pratishtha, as part of the Prana Pratishtha ceremony, which will be tomorrow, all of that is connected. And we have these blades of dharma grass. So Prabhupada would oftentimes say that by chanting Hare Krishna, this is the real installation. So we have this amazing kirtaniers here. And all of that energy and all of your prayers and all of these, all of the Mahamantra, also the dharma is like an electric rod. And it's connecting all of the prayers and all of your chanting into the kumbhas, which will also be merged into the deity. So while we chant, you have to be especially focused so that the Lord will descend. The Yagyashala is a model of Vaikuntha. We have all of the guards. We have the Lord's paraphernalia, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and Jai Vijay and everyone else is all around. And we've installed them. We worship them also every morning, every evening. So all of his paraphernalia, all of his associates are here. And now tomorrow, we'll ask and pray and continue our prayers that the Lord descends into the bimba with the Prana Pratishtha. So tonight, we've opened the deity's eyes behind the curtain. And what we're going to do is, when they open, just like if you've been in a dark room your whole life, you can have your eyes open, but you can't see anything. So the deities, they're behind their curtain, so their eyes are open, but they can't see. And right now what it is the form is not yet complete. So the first thing that they're going to do is see their devotees. The eyes will function, and we'll present different articles in front of them. So we have all these young virgin girls with Bhagavatams and Srila Prabhupada's books. And then we'll have some of the pujaris offering different items or showing different items in front of the eyes. And then tonight we'll put them to rest. And then the next morning we'll do what's called the Nyasa Homa, which is connecting the fire and the kumbhas to the murti and destroying all of the material elements in the murti. And rebuilding the murti out of completely spiritual elements using the mantras, the Mula Mantras. And after that, the form is completely prepared to pray for the prana to come down from Vaikuntha, through the Chaturvyuha, through the Paramatma, and then out into the bimba, into the murti. And after that, the final aspect of the Prana Pratishtha, the prana is there, but the acharyas oftentimes say that it's not until the first darshan that the Prana Pratishtha is complete. Because if the Lord needs his devotees. So it's that connection, when he first sees the devotees, that's when he's completely, fully there. Because he's never alone, he's always with his associates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all of you if we can begin the ceremony tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'll say it in Sanskrit. I'll say, Bhavadbihi anugyataha punyaham vachayishye. And you'll respond, Om Vachyatam. So repeat after me, Om Vachyatam. Okay, well when you say it, you have to say it with vigor and conviction. Otherwise it's not clear to us as the priests and to all the other associates whether or not it's time. So you have to practice that. After that we'll chant what's called Shanti Panchakam. There are 5 mantras that end in Shanti. And we say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We say it 3 times because we want peace in 3 different realms. There's 3 types of disturbances in this world. Those are Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, and Adhidaivaka. Things that come from within ourselves, disturbances from other people, and natural disasters. So just like it's raining right now, but you all made it here tonight, so you weren't disturbed. So we want to create a Shanti atmosphere. So one thing, as we're chanting, we want to completely focus on the chanting of the Mahamantra. Completely focus on what's happening. All the side conversations and all of the other things that are going on, you should try and keep them in and completely focus on the beautiful kirtan being sung by Achyuta Gopi and all of the other devotees. Om Bhavadbihi Anugyataha Punyaham Vachayishye. Om Vachata. Hari Om Shanna Mitra Shamvarunaha Shamna Bhavat Varyama Shamna Indra Brihaspatihi Shamna Vishnurarakramaha Nama Brahmane Namaste Vaya Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ratam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avata Tadvaktaram Avatam Avatumam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hare